Come on a journey with me, Bree Lawrenson, where we talk about the stories behind the scenes in the music industry. Grab a drink or four. This is your front row ticket in to the distillery with me, Bree.
Welcome back to another episode of The Distillery. I am Addict T, and today we are going through your questions. We have gotten an insane amount of questions. I was going through them today. I picked out a few that we can kind of touch on today. A lot of them are going to go into a lot of the episodes and the stories that we're going to get into as we kind of progress into this podcast. And when I was going through all these questions today, I realized we're on episode 6 that we're recording, which is kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Because it's this started off. It took us a few months to kind of get some ideas and stuff together, and now here we are with episode 6, and and
it's just growing. I think the people tuning in, it's growing, and I think that the amazing thing, for me, the coolest thing ever about it is that there's people from the Netherlands listening and UK. We
actually have a question from somebody from the UK.
Well, there you go. And that's what is so amazing about the internet.
Yeah.
And the podcast things are really big. Podcasting is big.
Yeah.
Right now. And I think that we're starting at a good time. We could have maybe started this podcast earlier. But, we had a baby.
Yeah. Yeah. It was something we could have started during the pandemic. Yeah.
Well, we were busy doing other things during that time. And they eventually led to a wonderful baby boy that we love. And I just cut his hair.
Yeah, he looks adorable.
I've never cut anyone's hair before except
really
for my own. I think I've cut my bangs, but
you did really good.
Yeah,
his hair looks great. But you know what? It's so curly that it's kind of looks like a little mini afro now.
I know, at the top.
Yeah. It's like he's starting to grow a little fro.
Do I cut those top pieces shorter? Or do I just,
no, you gotta let them curl
like
up top.
Ringlets that stand up. Yeah, so I left those. He's cute.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But I mean, we're just here doing this podcast now, and I think this is it's good for us to because it gives us this awesome thing to do where we get to talk about the experiences that we've had.
It is, yeah, and it's a platform to record it, which is great, and get to share it with everybody, right? So it's
so you guys please share. Sharing is the best thing, and I say that to my TikTok family all the time. I live stream on TikTok a lot because TikTok is TikTok.
TikTok brings you to a whole new platform of people that have never seen or heard of you, essentially, right?
And that's the thing that I love so much about it. We have friends from Australia, we have friends from Scotland, we have friends from Texas, Florida, Idaho, Georgia, North Carolina, Florida, so many from Florida, from everywhere, and California. There's no other, in my experience, there's no other way to reach that amount of people across the world in one.
I think when TikTok came on, they really changed the game of social media.
Yeah.
TikTok, because they brought you to, again, it just in front, you go on your For You page, you'll get people from all over the world.
Yes.
One of the things actually I'm getting right now, which is kind of cool, is the come have lunch with me in Japan. And they go into a 7-Eleven, and you get this egg sandwich or tuna sandwich, which they say is amazing, and you get a sushi roll, and and you get an iced coffee which is made fresh, and it's crazy because Japan is just a place
you've always wanted to
one
go.
Day. I'm going to 100% one day. But it's just it's really, really cool.
Imagine
right?
the sushi there. It would be so
amazing.
Fresh.
It'd be
probably.
Amazing. It'd be amazing.
Yeah. And so that's well, we'll have to maybe in our adventures we'll find ourselves there. doing a podcast.
Yeah, that'd be wicked.
Wouldn't that be awesome?
That'd be wicked. To get us there, please share the podcast. Please
yes.
share, like, subscribe, guys. We appreciate all your feedback.
Yeah, The Distillery. You can get it everywhere you get your podcasts.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah. Well, let's jump into some fan questions here because so what I did, because there was a lot to go through and I have it done. We're going to have to do a part 2 down the road.
Good. Well,
but I kind of picked a few and that I thought were kind of cool and questions that, I think some of the listeners would all like to know.
Good. Cool.
So let's go with Ken from Texas. Says, what is your first musical memory? And I wasn't sure what Ken meant by this. Ken, if you are listening, let us know what you mean. But I assume what you mean, like, Ken would be first kind of band that you kind of remember, from
like being influenced by, basically.
Not necessarily influenced by, but I think, or influenced by, but
okay, yeah, I know. I think I know.
Like your first band that you remember from a kid, right?
So that's an influence, yes. Yeah. But I remember my first musical moment. I do remember that. I was about 6 or 7, and my dad, there was this song that I loved that I sang. I was just like, I've been singing since I was like tiny apparently. So I was about 6 or 7, and there was this movie, Free Willy.
Oh yeah.
Remember that movie? And I was obsessed with that movie, but I was obsessed with the song, one of the songs that played. I couldn't even sing it for you now. I don't even think I remember it. But I told my dad how much I love the song, and then he watched the movie with me, and he heard the song. And so he's like, oh, you really love that song? Okay. And then he went over to the piano, and he just started playing it.
That's crazy. Come on.
And from that moment, ever since I was that little girl, watching him do that, I thought he was like a superhero. I was like, I want to do that. Like, how did he do that?
Just by ear. That's crazy.
Yeah, that's a really cool question, Ken. That's kind of what popped up in my mind for me.
Okay, cool. Well, I hope that answers your question, Ken. Thank you so much for sending it in. That's awesome.
Thank you. Yes.
Thank you, Tanya from Ohio. When are you coming to Nashville next, and do you have any shows lined up? This is actually, so I picked this one because you are going to be going to Nashville soon.
Awesome.
So I thought this kind of tied right into it. So
in Ohio, if I drive to Nashville, I usually drive right through Ohio. Ohio is very long.
Toledo. Yeah, it is long. I remember you and I have driven it. It's very, very long.
Oh my gosh, it's so long. And then we have some other awesome friends from Ohio that come here for their cottaging and stuff.
Yeah.
But yes, I'm going back to Nashville. I'm gonna say end of May, beginning of June, because I need to record new songs. I just released Neon Nashville, and that was the last song that I recorded basically last year when I was in Nashville. So I need more content. I need more music. So we're going to record probably four new songs. And I've already got 2 of them written for sure.
You only have 2 written? You haven't even...
Yeah, I mean, I gotta keep writing. I have to write some more stuff.
You just waiting for some inspiration?
No, I'm waiting for the time.
Yeah, well, that's true. This, we have been extremely busy.
What is happening in our lives?
So you said end of May, early June?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, and also I've got a friend that is in Tennessee, and I'm keeping her updated as well. Like, it would be really cool to do a TikTok meetup or something.
Well, you know what? Also, Tanya from Ohio, if you're
if it's only a few hour drive, I would love to do a TikTok meetup, and I know I'll be meeting up with Dwayne, who is one of my Patreon members, and who is a truck driver. He drives his trucks, and like he actually switches off trucks like every load, and so on every truck that he switches off from, he's posting my poster on these trucks.
So your face is all over the States.
So, and also he's going the extra mile. He wants for anyone out there that sees one of these posters, if you take a TikTok, take a picture, do a video, and tag me or Dwayne, tag us in it, you could win $100, which Dwayne is offering. So Dwayne is just...
That's awesome. Shout out to Dwayne.
A wonderful human being that I met online that I never, would have met otherwise.
Yep.
If it wasn't for TikTok and my TikTok family. And I just, yes, huge shout out to Dwayne. And that reminds me too, he's always got these great ideas for promoting. So if you want to join my email list, I send out promotional artwork every month to my street team through the email list. And yeah, I just kind of keep you updated on what's going on with me and my career and my personal life and whatever. If you become a member on Patreon, then you get sort of more of an exclusive look into my life and like backstage, what's going to happen at the Shania Twain show. Like I get to open for her at Blues Fest this year. And it's going to be, we're going to have to make sure we get some real awesome exclusive content for my Patreon members. Sure. So check me out on Patreon as well. Sure.
And so the second part to Tanya's question was, do you have any shows lined up?
Yeah, that's a great question because I used to play a lot in Nashville, and I shouldn't say that.
Well, I think you know what? I think Tanya probably listened to the Bluebird episode.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
When I actually sang at the Bluebird Cafe, but I was doing a lot of like little pubs every time I went to Nashville for a while, and then it got kind of tricky because as a Canadian, you're going into the States and you're saying, I'm coming to the States to play music, and then it's just like a big red flag. And they don't want to know that you're coming into their country, into the States to make money if you're Canadian.
Yeah.
But they don't really get that like Nashville you only play for tips. Like it's nothing,
Yeah.
So I don't really spend a lot of time trying to perform in Nashville. I might go to the karaoke bar. You might find me there.
That's awesome.
But yeah, I had another friend in Tennessee ask me if I was performing or if I had any plans to perform. At the moment I don't. I'm just going there to record and maybe write. But yeah, I'll definitely keep everyone updated if I get to play.
Well, it's funny how you're talking about the going to Nashville and then being kind of stringent at the border, and
yes,
because this one, we know this person is a big fan because of this exact question.
Okay.
Have you ever been refused at the border? Thank you, Cheryl, for that question. Let's actually, answer the question, but I think we should release a full podcast on this next week. It's kind of why I picked it too.
That's a good idea.
In 2 weeks from now, when we release the new one. So that'll be the next one. But so answer the question. Have you ever been refused at the border?
The answer to that question is yes. I've been refused. I was not allowed to go into America one time. And, it's not because maybe I am a rebel. I don't know. It's not because I'm a horrible person.
I'm sure you're great.
I try to be good. Yeah, it was a whole fiasco, and we can definitely do an episode.
Yeah, we'll touch back. Again, I just picked it because I just thought it was.
And the cool thing about it was, yes, it was like a huge obstacle for me, and I was standing at a fork in the road. I could either just give up and not record in Nashville then, or I could try again. And so,
and the rest
guess
is
what
history.
I did? I just got back up again.
Yeah, that's what you have to do. Thank you, Harry from the UK. Would you ever come to the UK and consider picking up some gigs?
Yes, I've sung in the UK actually, and it's a little bit easier for Canadians to make some good money in the UK.
Yeah, well, it's something you and I have talked about, not at great lengths, but it's something we've kind of always wanted to look at doing, and I think it's still a possibility. I think
it's kind of like
to make it a reality.
Yeah, and it's the clubs and the venues are so big and they're so awesome. They've got like 3 levels.
It's a different appreciation for music as well, right?
Yeah.
There's different, especially if you go to places like China, the music there is a lot different, appreciated differently than it is here.
Yeah.
Like, do you remember? We have a friend. His name is Corey. He played for this band, which they're well known here, but not as well known as Belgium or Japan or China, where they're headlining these crazy big festivals.
They're like stars over there.
They're huge stars, and it's just a sea of people when they're playing, and it's it's amazing. It's a different appreciation. So it is something that we'd like to do for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
And then it brings you to a whole new audience as well, which is what we're aiming for.
Yeah, and like worldly. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
There's Facebook, but Facebook only goes so far. You want to make sure you connect and reach out to your fans that listen to your music across the world. And so on Spotify, every month on Spotify, because I'm a verified artist on Spotify, I get these detailed reports saying your top countries that played your music and the top cities in those countries.
Oh, that's awesome.
So artists, and it is awesome. Spotify is wonderful for doing that for artists like me who are independent and have to plan their whole tour by themselves. So they can literally, like me, I could literally go to my Spotify data analytics and then just say, okay, I've got fans in this city, in this country, so let's go there, you know, and then just kind of plan it from there based on analytics from online.
That's wicked smart. That's awesome.
We could do stuff like that, yes. And what I was going to say is the UK is kind of like, in that way, they're kind of like Canada, where Canada, if you're a musician and you go and play a bar, you always get paid. You don't just play for tips.
Yeah. Yeah.
Every bar or venue is different. You could sell tickets and make the profit off that. But
we've touched on that too at a previous episodes as well. That it's just mainly for tips.
Yeah, Nashville, and the States. It's a lot different. Like, think about the market over there. It's much more competitive. So people aren't gonna.
So to answer your question in short, Harry, hell yeah,
hell yeah.
No, it is something that we will definitely keep looking into. There's so much logistics behind it. That's the only problem. You're looking at travel accommodations and this and that, and where you're going to sleep that night and how you're going to get from gig A to gig B, and it's just there's a lot of logistics. But
you're like, let's stay in a hostel. I'm like, hell no.
I know. I'm all down for it. So it's like you can find two. You can find something for like $5-10 a night.
Like, I'm a little more bougie than that.
Well, I know. I like to rough it. You're all like, no. Okay, next question. Thank you, Tanika, and I hope I'm saying that right, from Florida. Who was your biggest inspiration growing up?
Oh, that's such a great question. Who's my biggest inspiration growing up? My mom. And still now, I feel like I could never do what she did with me and how hard she worked with me. Like, just because all I wanted to do was sing. Like, like you're a little girl and you're like, I just want to sing. But she actually took it to another level. Like, she really
believed in you, of course.
She really, and so she would give up her weekends just to like drive me all across the countryside to sing in festivals and fairs and corporate events. And she put me on a train to Toronto, and I went and did auditions for like shows and stuff. Like, what my mom did with me was way over the top, but I guess she's a mom.
So she gave you the tools to succeed in
and so
what you wanted to be,
and she like career
wise.
I was 15 and I released my first, and I've got my first label and my first bunch of investors, and like, you know, I was on the cover of the Sun and the Citizen in Ottawa, and I was only 15. I didn't know how much work went into that.
Now looking back on it, and now kind of taking on some stuff on your own. Holy crap!
Could you imagine if, you know, we had to do the same thing for Zayn? Yeah. Like, I mean, I feel like I could do it because I already know a lot of the people.
He'd have a bit of a head start, I think.
Yeah, he could. Yeah, he could definitely have an open door there because I'm so in it all the time. But yeah, my mom, and like musically I freaking love Mariah Carey, Christina Aguilera, like those big singers, the singers that can sing, like the Whitney Houstons
with the big voices and the crazy ass notes.
Tell that the music is inside of them somehow. Like they're just using their voice like playing an instrument. It's not just a voice, it's like an instrument. And I would watch Christina Aguilera like live in concert DVD like over and over again. And then when I grew up a little more, I got into the guitar and like writing my songs with the guitar and learning how to play and sing. And then I started loving Keith Urban and Dierks Bentley, like just great songwriters. I got really into songwriting, and now here we are.
That's awesome.
I can pick up my guitar and write a song.
And if
all I really want to do is sing.
so let me ask you this: if there's somebody comes up to you, okay, and they say, "Hey, Brianne, you can meet any singer-songwriter in the whole entire world tomorrow." Who would you pick? Dead or alive? Who would you pick?
Dead or alive?
Yeah.
Whitney Houston.
I fucking knew you were going to say Whitney Houston. I knew it. I knew you were going to say Whitney Houston.
Well, when you put that in it, dead or alive?
Yeah. Well, that's why I said dead, because I was just like, if I say dead, she's going to pick Whitney Houston, and you did.
And what do you think I would pick if it had to be a person that was alive?
A person that was alive? I'd pick between two people, probably like Keith Urban and Christina.
Yeah, Christina. Yeah, for sure. I mean, Keith Urban is like my deity.
He's the monkey on your back.
I got his.
He's the monkey on your back.
Guitar Entertainment logo on my back. But
Wicked, that was a great question. That was a really nice question. That was awesome.
Yeah,
that was
please
awesome.
Thank you. Sending the questions.
We're having fun with this. This is cool, and it goes into so much more, which is awesome, right?
Yes. Well, I'm very good at like going on and on and on. I just have so much to say.
We got one last question before we wrap it up. Again, thank you guys so much for sending these in. I'm still going through them, so if I have not asked Bree your question yet, it is coming. Please be patient. We're just trying to go through a bunch of them. So Danny from Toronto, Ontario boy.
Nice.
Would you ever consider recording a pop song? I thought this was kind of cool.
Ooh, that's a nice question.
I thought that was kind of cool.
Hell yeah.
Yeah?
I love pop. That's what I originally wanted to do.
Did you record pop music though when you were younger?
My first album was a pop album.
Yeah.
And I had like extensions and braids. Like my whole entire head was braids. Like Rasta. Yeah. And I just wanted to be like Alanis Morissette.
That was the dream.
So hell yes, I would totally. And I feel like country music now is almost pop music.
It's a mix. It's a mix. Yeah, it's a very big mix of country and pop.
Yeah. And I mean, a good song is a good song. Whatever you decide to do with it in the studio is a different form of art, is a different thing.
There's people who've recorded country songs as pop songs, right?
Oh yeah.
Like, and you look at Taylor Swift too. Taylor Swift will have a song and they'll release it on a commercial country station and a commercial pop station at the same time.
Yeah.
I've heard her song on like two different types.
Yeah, that's a crossover.
Genres, yeah. That's
and
crazy.
So that's happening right now with Morgan Wallen too.
Oh, okay.
And his new song, which I love. So I'm a big. I love top 40 music.
Yeah.
Like,
well, that's why it's top 40. Everyone loves it.
I love it, but I'm it's not like a normal thing for a musician to be like, oh my god, I love that song that we hear all the time.
Yeah.
I do love the album tracks and the songs that don't get recognized, but at the same time I just love to listen to the radio and the top 40 songs. I mean, I don't want to hear them over and over and over again, but that's commercial radio, so that's just another story. But yeah, totally, I would so love to record a pop song.
That's
maybe do like a collab with someone.
You should do it once. Like, yo, yo, yo.
Try it out. I even thought I could try it out. Who knows?
You should try it out.
Maybe
that'd be wicked. You should try it out. That would be fun.
I could reach new audiences.
Yeah. Do a crossover.
The cool thing is that I'm not controlled by anyone, like a label or anything. Yeah. And I can literally decide to do whatever I want.
I think you should do it.
So this is a challenge.
This is a challenge. Throw down.
You want me to write a pop song?
Write a pop song.
And record it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Let's do it. Crossover.
We'll be a crossover.
The things that happen from this podcast. And that was never even discussed. That is fantastic.
Fantastic.
Thank you guys so much for all your questions. We had a blast. This was a lot of fun.
Yeah, this is awesome.
Sit down and answer all of them. So thank you guys. Tim, shout out to you, the producer. Thank you so much, man. Guys, again, don't mean to keep harping on it, but please make sure to like and subscribe to the podcast. Leave a comment. Bree, can you give us your socials one more time and how to get on your email list again, please?
Yes, please go to breelawrenson.com, BreaLawrenson.com, and you can sign up to the email list and you can get all my socials right there.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Guys, we're going to be back in 2 weeks. We're going to talk about why Bree got denied access to the United States of America. So that's going to be a very, very fun episode. I remember that time, and I remember when I got the phone call from you, I was working at my brother's pizza shop as a delivery boy. And really? You got the call, and it was, and you're just like, I got refused.
And I was like,
they sent me back home.
I was probably like drunk by that point on a bottle
No, you were
of
still
wine.
driving. I hope you weren't drinking.
No.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for jumping in for another episode with us, and we'll see you in 2 weeks.
Yep.
Bye.
Bye.